In this presentation, we will argue that multimedia presentations, that is, presentations with the aid of external visual tools, are stimulative for educative progress. On the level of presentation formats, multimedia means the use of different forms of representation, such as text and pictures. On the level of sensory modalities, multimedia means the use of multiple senses, such as the eye and the ear. Multimedia learning can therefore be defined as the combined comprehension of text and pictures, which may occur in differing forms. For instance, a lecture with pictures, or a book with drawings, or even an illustrated text on the internet. In this video presentation, we will be using 3 connected arguments to give meaning to and create suggestions for instructional design, leading to a model of multimedia learning. The 3 points are: it's things that make us smart. We use vision to think. We only see what we want to see. The 3 key points of our argument will be illustrated by movie fragments, drawings, and photographs.
It's things that make us smart. External aids are used to overcome the limitations of thought, reasoning and memory. These aids can be pen and paper, but also pocket calculators, printed calendars, maps or even Wikipedia. Take multiplication. Have a person multiply a pair of 2-digit numbers such as 17 times 23 in his head and time how long it takes.
391.
Repeat the experiment using pencil and paper. It reduces the time by a factor of 5. When using pen and paper, this problem is overcome, as one will not have to concentrate on memorizing the variables that will have to be added later. A pocket calculator will make such multiplications even more easy. Visual and manipulative use of the external world amplifies cognitive performance. Contemporary society would not have reached current technological and scientific advancement without assistance of external tools. Oral cultures do not have facilitation to conserve discoveries or results. They have no such thing as a written history. Take for example the Bushmen. They are a vanishing community, and with the Bushmen their oral culture will also disappear.
The cold ashes of southern Africa. They're the oldest race within the human race. They've been within Africa for 80,000 years. Local company will be 50% full.
It's very difficult to say whether this is a cultural tradition that will disappear altogether.
The Bushmen are disappearing, and there's only a few of these guys left with this amount of knowledge, and let's get out here to learn from them before it's gone.
Secondly, we use vision to think. The powers of cognition come from abstraction and representation. We use sounds, gestures and symbols to refer to objects, things and concepts. This is the essence of intelligence, since new experiences, insights and creations can emerge if the representation and the processes are just right. A representational system consists of, firstly, the represented world, that which is to be represented, and secondly, the representing world, a set of symbols each standing for something in the represented world. Representing the situation using a sketch of the representing world in fact makes things clearer, since the expression itself could be taken literally and thus make no sense.
For example, if one wants to avoid a group of people, one could say, I walked around them in a big circle, meaning you avoided them by walking in a large distance around these people. Now if I would draw this visually, you would have the group of people at these points. I place them here at random. Now these 3 people walking around in a big circle would actually mean from here to here. Drawing the line, this would make sense. However, if the expression would be taken literally, I walked around them in a big circle, one could think of a big circle around these people, meaning you would end up at the point where you started walking, which actually would not make any sense.
Once we have ideas represented by representations, the physical world is no longer relevant. By thinking on representations, we discover high-order relationships, structures and consistencies in the world. The ability to find these structures is at the heart of reasoning, critical literature, art, mathematics and science. 3. We only see what we want to see. To think that we are aware of visual complexity of the world is an illusion. We do not retain much about the world from one fixation to the next. What we see is determined by what we are trying to accomplish. If a field contains multiple patterns and we are attempting to view just one, we tend to blur out the others. We do not register objects even though we are looking right at them. This is important in the discussion of educative progression in the sense that our brain is trained to register visual queries and patterns. When combining these visual means with spoken word, it clarifies its meaning and implication.
In conclusion, the 3 central points discussed lead to a series of suggestions for instructional design. These suggestions will hopefully be used to improve multimedia learning. The development of multimedia learning tools could lead to new methods of learning. Combining sound, images and text could improve storing novel information in the long-term memory. The cognitive theory of multimedia learning, otherwise known as CTML, has been proposed by Mayer, and the integrated model is proposed by Schnolz. These models offer a framework for the analysis of text and picture comprehension, and in that respect they can be used to support multimedia learning. These are the suggestions for instructional design. Use text combined with content-related pictures when learners have low prior knowledge. If text is used, present it in a close spatial proximity to the picture. If animation is used, use spoken text instead of written word. Do not add written text that duplicates spoken text combined with pictures. Don't add unnecessary sound or music. If a written text and a picture cannot be presented simultaneously, present the picture before the text. And if the subject matter can be visualized by different pictures in different ways that are informationally equivalent, use a picture with the form of visualization that is most appropriate for solving future tasks. Don't combine text and pictures if learners have sufficient prior knowledge and cognitive ability to construct a mental model from one source of information. And lastly, if a static picture is combined with text, if the text is difficult to understand and learning time is not limited, use written rather than spoken text. The overall thought is less is more. Designers of instructional material should not add irrelevant bells and whistles to multimedia learning environments. To conclude, we'll use an Oscar winner to show what a multimedia presentation should actually entail.
Whole thing, this is a cyclical phenomenon. There was a medieval warming period after all. Well, yeah, there was. There it is right there.